Air light, we'll get started whenever that turns on. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Berea City Council meeting, Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. I'll call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please let the record reflect that a quorum is present. This time I'll call on Steve Cottle to lead us in the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Steve.
Would you pray with me? Heavenly Father, we come today to do the work of our city. We thank you for all the many blessings that we have within our city, and we thank you for all of our employees who continue to work and do the great work that we need done for our citizens. Lord, be with those who are in need at this time, and remind us, Lord, to love one another as we would love ourselves. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Steve. The next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve by Katie and second by John? Any discussion on the motion to approve the agenda? Seeing none, I'll request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. The motion carries and the agenda is approved. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from our September 16th meeting. Is there a motion to approve? By Cora Jane Wilson and a second by Jerry Little. Is there any discussion on the motion to approve or any edits or corrections that are needed? All right, seeing none, we'll request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to approve the minutes from September 16th, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion carries and the minutes are approved. And we do have a couple of people signed up for public comment tonight. What I'll do is let me read this real quick and then we'll recognize folks. The public's given the opportunity to speak at the City Council during public comment portion of the meeting. Any public comments exceeding 3 minutes should be scheduled as a presentation through the mayor's office. When recognized by the mayor, please go to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Comments should be business-oriented. We ask for no inappropriate language or naming of any person individually during the comments. And business-oriented is defined as any item of business on the agenda, including ordinances, municipal orders, resolutions, along with comments related to services provided by the City of Berea. The first person that we have listed today is Laura Mangus, and I hope I said that right. I did? Good. So I passed the test today. Ms. Mangus, if you want to come up, Sean will help you with that, and you'll have up to 3 minutes to speak.
I hope it's not going to be 3 minutes, but anyway. Put my glasses on. Good evening, Mayor Fraley, members of the council, City Administrator Sean Sandlin, and fellow citizens. My name is Laura Mangus. I live at 99 Neely Street, and I've been a Berea citizen since 1971. I've worked in healthcare in one form or the other for most of my working life here until my retirement in March 2020. My community work includes being one of the founding members of Common Ground, a grassroots Berea organization that dealt with the earth gas issue. I subsequently started the Berea Environmental Project, a recycling and educational center designed to give Berea citizens the knowledge and opportunity to see that recycling was not only feasible but necessary to deal with our ever-increasing waste stream. Our country is now having to come to terms with government cuts of all kinds. The proposed cuts to Medicaid will affect our hospital and 2 nursing homes here in Berea. These are very concerning. On April 26, 2025, an article appeared in the Richmond Register with Baptist Health CEO Greg Girard describing the state of healthcare in Madison County. In lieu of the fact that the council has not yet been able to hear from St. Joseph's CEO about how he views the situation at our hospital in Berea, we have run off the Richmond Register article for each of you so the council can think about our situation here in Berea and how we will deal with these drastic cuts to Medicaid as they occur. Thank you for your time and attention to this important matter. I have these. I don't know if you want to, Robin, you want to?
Yes, ma'am. If you'll give those to Sean Sandlin, and Sean will make sure that everybody has a copy before the meeting's over. Thank you for your comments and for your engagement, Ms. Mangus. The next person we have listed for public comment is Shane Morris. Shane, if you'd come on up. You have the floor, sir.
Shane Morris, I live here in town. I want to commend the council for, once again, not getting city property involved with the pride shenanigans that went on a couple of weekends ago. This is not related to that as far as the politics of it, even though that was clearly a partisan Democrat gathering. What did occur and pertains to all of us during that meeting there was the noise related to it. And I'm given to understand that there were more than one complaint about the noise from that gathering. Yeah, I understand it was on private property, but the KRS is clear that if a substantial, quote, a substantial group of people been invited onto public property, then that also crosses over into the KRS with the disorderly conduct. And then to the council directly, I would direct your attention to something I'm sure you're already familiar with, and that's the juvenile curfew ordinance. And in 55.001, the purpose, I would suggest there is language here that could be a very good standalone noise ordinance. I know in the past there have been those from the left who have complained about fireworks, etc. 55.001 reads, "This chapter is enacted to protect, preserve, and promote the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Berea through the reduction, control, and preventing of loud and raucous noise, or any noise which unreasonably disturbs, injures, or endangers the comfort, repose, health, peace, or safety of reasonable persons of ordinary sensitivity." So I would suggest that if you could sit at your dinner table, as I did inside my home, and hear inside my home, bum, 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 welcome to the stage, cinnamon, and so on, let alone the music that contained obscene lyrics that was played and heard by little children on the soccer field right next door. This is a good cause to consider. Once again, a noise ordinance, and you have in 55.001 excellent language for such an ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. Appreciate you coming and your engagement. Moving forward, the next item on the agenda is Hope Swings Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And last week we had a really nice luncheon that's sponsored by Hope Swings to call attention to prevention of domestic violence. We rotate that back and forth between Richmond and Berea. Next year it'll be in Berea. This year it was at Richmond City Hall, and it was really well attended every year, and it draws our attention to Domestic Violence Awareness Month. One of the things we do, this is another collaborative effort between the City of Richmond, Madison County Fiscal Court, and the City of Berea. It's a joint proclamation, and I'll read that, and then we do have someone from Hope Swings that I'll introduce to you in just a minute. Whereas domestic violence has no place in our society, and we have a moral obligation to support the victims and their children while putting into place strategies for preventing it in the future. And whereas domestic violence destroys lives and damages the dignity of men, women, and children, and whereas Domestic Violence Awareness Month is an opportunity to emphasize our commitment to ending domestic violence in our community, and whereas a home should be the ultimate place for safety, comfort, and love, domestic violence shatters these basic foundations of life. We are strongly committed to addressing domestic violence and helping those who have been victimized, and whereas during Domestic Violence Awareness Month, We are grateful for the agencies and individuals providing care for those affected by these acts of cruelty, and to the law enforcement and court system for bringing offenders to justice. By working together, we can build a community where every home honors the value of dignity of its loved ones. Now, therefore, the Madison County Fiscal Court, the City of Richmond, and the City of Berea do hereby proclaim October 25th as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Richmond, Berea, and all Madison County. We urge all citizens to reach out to victims and help end domestic violence. And that's the proclamation that we all signed. And today we do have Kaylin Carpenter from Hope's Wings. And Kaylin, I'd like for you to come up and we'll present this to you. I'd like the council to come in and do a photo op where we can get that in the newspaper. You come right here and I'll come to you. Is that all right? Make sure we get this in the newspaper for awareness.
Hey, Jerry, how are you?
Good, you?
Good, doing well. I'm glad for the rain. We needed it, yeah. Yeah. Hi, Cora.
Come on, Jerry.
You're live.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Kaylin Carpenter. Usually Jennifer Lanehart would be the one coming, but I'm in her place today. I'm the assistant director at Hope's Wings Domestic Violence Program. I just want to thank Mayor Farley for always being supportive. You know, this year we had our proclamation lunch in Richmond. Last year we had it in Berea, and like you said, we're going to have it in Berea again next year. And it really is a nice lunch. So hopefully next year, some of you guys, now that you know about it, can come on down there and do it with us. But thank you guys for letting me come in here and talk. The only thing I'd like to promote is that we do have a 5K coming up on October 17th. It's going to be at Whitehall. And if you follow Hope's Wings on Facebook, you guys can register for that. And it's a really good way to, you know, show your awareness and support us as a nonprofit for you guys. So thank you.
Thank you, Kaylin, and again, thank you and Jennifer and everybody involved with Hope's Wings, including the board and the volunteers,
Well, thank you.
for the important work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you. And one more thing, just so you guys know, because I don't know if a lot of people in Berea do know that you are part of our service area, but you are. So if you do know anybody who's going through anything as far as domestic violence, please give us a call, and we'll try to help them out as much as we can. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, the next item on our agenda, we have an update on the Berea Pollinator Gardens, and the pollinators gardens have grown. So I'm happy to welcome Judith Weckman, and I will note that Judith is not here alone. She has a lot of volunteers and helpers. She has a PowerPoint, so we'll give Daniel a chance to get that up. And Judith, if you'll come on up, you have the floor, and whenever you're ready, take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. Thank you, City Council members, Mayor Fraley, staff of the city for your service and for allowing us to speak here tonight. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about how to improve the local ecology, actually. The scientific discipline focused on the relationship of living organisms to their environment. The term ecology is made of two Greek words, eco, which is oikos in Greek, and logi, which means the study of. So we're really talking about the study of the house here. Let me get my mouse working right. This is our house, Berea, the city of Berea. So that's the house I'm going to be talking about tonight. The Berea Pollinator Gardens is a volunteer, and some of our volunteers are here tonight, initiative begun in the spring of 2023 We are dedicated, as our sign says, to creating a series of native plant gardens along Berea's bicycle and walking paths. The project focuses on restoring native plants, supporting local wildlife, and providing peaceful, beautiful spaces for all to enjoy and connect with nature. And I'd like to dedicate this entire project to my friend, the Monarch Lady of Berea, and my inspiration, Ann Longsworth, who has for many years educated Bereans and provided plants to help save the monarch butterfly. She's sitting right there. Thank you, Ann. Let me start with why pollinators are important. Pollination is important for a strong, healthy ecosystem. 1 in 3 bites of the food we eat depends on pollinators, insects, birds, bats, sometimes mammals even. These pollinators depend on a wide diversity of plants. That's the kicker here. So we have ecological problems all through the world. Pollinators are in decline worldwide due to habitat loss, the habitat which provides them with nutritious food and cover. Invasive species have displaced the species that support these pollinators, parasites, pesticides, you name it. North America, in my lifetime, actually since I was 20, in the last 50 years, has lost over 3 billion birds alone, and bees and butterflies are in dangerous decline as well. So I retired from Berea College 3 years ago, and I really wanted to do something with my ecology background. I met with Mayor Fraley in early 2023 to identify some sites for native plant pollinator gardens, sites that were in need of ecological restoration. And in that first meeting, we talked about the framework that I call, it's the 3 E's. I see it as a win-win-win scenario. It helps with the ecology, it helps with education, and it's an economic value, we hope. So supporting these pollinators helps us increase our biodiversity, which is very important to the health of our entire ecosystem, the water and air that we depend on, and soil. The educational aspects of helping our young people and everybody understand why ecological principles are so important, and promoting social connections among many groups, especially intergenerational. The economic side is how many of you have traveled and gone to see gardens? People go all over the world to see incredible garden spaces. One of the things I talked to Mayor Fraley about was the city of Berea has many identities. We're an arts and crafts capital. We're a trail town. We're a college town. We're a music town. I would like to add we're a pollinator-friendly town. I think it only would serve to strengthen the brand that makes Berea so special for all of us. The first volunteers began their work in 2023 on our first site, which was Mayor Fraley picked out for us. Turned out to be a really great site on the south side of the Berea Utilities Building. If you haven't been there, we'd love to invite you to come down with us. Right next to Brushy Fork Creek. When we looked at that site, you couldn't even see the creek. It was so choked with invasive winter creeper, climbing bittersweet, and bush honeysuckle. So we used hand tools, and a few of us got down there and started clearing that site and freeing those beautiful big native trees from those invasive vines. Here's just a picture of just some of the debris we were having to clear from that site. More volunteers have come and gone since those first days in 2023, and thankfully some new ones arrived. I couldn't live without you guys. Thank you for being with us. And here's some pictures of our volunteers doing different things at the gardens. So now, each year we've created one garden, the Woodland Garden, the Prairie Garden the next year in 2024, and then what we're calling the Memory Garden, which is our new garden this year. The Woodland Garden is, we have benches there. You can sit by Brushy Fork Creek. It has pathways and handrails that allow access to the creek. And we know that many people go and visit there and hang out there. It's a very serene site. So again, I invite you to be there. It's in shady, mostly shady. It is actually ecologically a primarily shaded woodland habitat with ferns, sedges, mosses, as well as many flowering plants, all native, surrounded by a beautiful handmade wooden fence. The Prairie Garden is right next to the Tilley Dog Park. It is in full sun, and it features over 25 native species of prairie-adapted plants, which are native to this area, that provide nectar, cover, and seeds for beneficial insects and birds. We're currently building a wooden bridge so that wheelchairs can move from the sidewalk there next to the dog park into the garden. The third garden, our new garden this year, is a very small one out on the Stevenson Trail next to the bridge where the confluence of Brushy Fork and Silver Creek meet. It is a small garden with sun-loving mints, asters, and other plants, and we hope actually that will serve as a place where people can remember their deceased loved ones. We've looked at placing memory stones discreetly among the plants there, and we can talk more about that later if you have questions about it. We understand the importance of making connections to our city's rich musical heritage. We had 2 events in the Woodland Garden this summer featuring local acoustic musicians. Over 120 people attended the first event and 65 attended the second one, despite having thunderstorms all afternoon, right up to the time of the play. So we had music in the garden, the first one, and then music at moonrise. And we're planning another event. We hope all of you can come. It's going to be October 24th. We're going to call it Halloween Harmonies. Here's just a picture of some of our musicians. I'm sure you will recognize some of them. Our local young man, Aja, on guitar, the Cabaret Trio singers, the Mud Pie Band, Kim Cobersmith playing flute. That was lovely. And Alice White with Ruth Smith entertained our guests at the very first event. A picture of some of the audience, the attendees. You can see people sitting in the shade of the garden listening to the music. Looking ahead, I think we would like to increase the biodiversity of future sites using city property and work with the tourism department closely to connect gardens to tourist interests as well, so that they're marked on our bicycle paths and so forth. And really, mostly, we just would like to begin and continue this conversation with City Council and officials that could partner with us in this endeavor. And just a small ecological note, replacing grass, like places that are just being mowed now as open spaces, with native plant gardens really does help reduce fossil fuel use and labor costs. It, of course, will create more biodiversity and can eliminate harmful invasive species, which is a whole huge topic of its own. You can follow us on Facebook. Look for or type in Berea Pollinator Gardens with an S. We currently have over 450 followers. And just to summarize, I'll conclude with the summary goals here, and that is we would like to enhance and improve biodiversity, number 1, and environmental sustainability, community health and wellness, community engagement and education, and enhance our economic potential also. So I'll stop here. Several of the volunteers and garden supporters are here tonight. They may want to add a few thoughts if we have a couple extra minutes time. We're all here to answer your questions, listens to your thoughts, get your input, and we thank you very much.
Thank you, Judith. Do we have any questions from the council? Steve?
Judith, are you all a nonprofit?
We are nothing.
So,
don't have any
so your
legal-
funding is strictly from the events you all have, so you're not an organized nonprofit?
Not even the events, Steve. Really, just some really kind people have forked over $20, $100, $50 here and there to buy the things we need.
Come by and let's talk about making it a nonprofit.
Okay.
Let's do that, because that will help you. I mean, if you want to expand it, that will help you be able to get more donations in, and I think would be a good idea. I'd be glad to help with that.
We'd love your advice, Steve. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. Other questions or comments for Judith from the council?
Can I ask if one or two of our volunteers would like to say
You
something?
may, without objection.
Thank you, Bruce. We got one. This is Wes Moody.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My first time here. Relatively new homeowner here in Berea, and many of the things, some of the other things that Berea is known for is what brought us here. The gardens is certainly one of those things that we have discovered while we've been here that we started volunteering with and find a real plus for Berea. The only thing I would like to say is something that I've noticed is, we're only working 2 to 3 hours on Tuesday mornings, and the number of people that stop that are walking on the trail in just that 2 or 3 hour period on Tuesday mornings and thank us, which makes us feel good, but that's not why we're doing it, and say, this garden or this one is a place of solace for us. We come here while we stop when we're walking, and it's a peaceful place. It's a beautiful place, and we watch the butterflies and the insects, the bees and the other insects, and it just struck me, if that's happening, if that many people are telling us that in a 2 or 3 hour period once a week, many other people, if you extrapolate that, must be thinking that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you again. And Judith, thank you. Judith, thank you. And we'll give the council one more chance for questions or comments for Judith. John, I knew John wouldn't pass the chance up.
I do want to say thank you for all the work you guys are doing to beautify our public spaces and to help create new attractions for our community. And I hope you'll come visit some of our parks meetings and help us continue that work.
We would love to see more native plants everywhere in town, and in a plan for how we could maintain those so that they'd be intact and beautiful, and the things that we want it to look good as well as serve the ecosystem. And thank you for that comment, John.
Katie?
Thanks. I just wanted to express my gratitude to you all and the volunteer labor. You all are such an organized, hardworking force, and I'm admiring you from afar. Even though I have never volunteered there, I enjoy the gardens, and the prairie garden this summer was just incredible, so towering. And it's so neat because some of those plants would not be appropriate in a home scale, or they'd be challenging. I'm a gardener, and some of them the scale is too intense. And so to be able to enjoy them and see them really stretch their legs in that setting is really pleasing. So, and I think Mayor Fraley did pick a good spot. It seems like there's good soil down there too, next in that bottomland. So yeah, thank you all for your work, and I'm happy to support in any way I can.
Other comments or questions for Judith? All right, Judith, thanks again. And I will note that the original site, the Woodland Garden, is right along Brushy Fork, which that's the known route of Boone Trace. So it ties in a little history. That whole area has pretty good karma. And again, thanks for your work. And it's been nice to see the number of volunteers. I don't know how that's grown, but I think it's at least tripled with the number of people from the time that you kind of got the initial garden going until now. So I'm grateful to see that community working together.
We're looking for younger volunteers. We're all wearing out pretty fast, but we'll do it. We won't
Thank
stop.
you again. We appreciate the update. All right, the next item on the agenda, lights, thank you, Charlie, is to request approval for a Housing Authority Board appointment. I'm requesting council approval of Tracy Blevins to fill the unexpired term of Jeannie Hogg on the Berea Housing Authority.
Second.
Motion by Jerry and second by Steve. Is there any discussion on the motion to approve that appointment? Seeing none, I'll request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to approve the appointment of Tracy Blevins to the Housing Authority, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. The motion carries, and we'll get that executive order done tomorrow. Thank you all very much, and I do want to express my gratitude to Jeannie Hogg, who has served well on the Housing Authority. I understand her need to step away, but I am grateful for everything that she did. She brought a lot of real-world experience in rental properties and management to the board, and did a great job for us. And I do look forward to working with Tracy as well. I'm grateful for her willingness to step up. Next item on the agenda is department head reports, and tonight we do have a featured department head, Susan Hilton, our Finance Department Director. Susan, welcome. You have the floor.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, City Administrator Sandlin. As always, I appreciate the opportunity to come talk about the activities of the Finance Department. Fall is always a busy season for us. One of our biggest activities is the collection of property taxes, and those property tax cards went out about 3 weeks ago. We mailed 6,129 bills, and to date, we have received about 17% of those, for a total of $183,611. So that's pretty standard for what we would expect 3 weeks out, so I'm pretty pleased with that. As a reminder to the public, the property tax bills paid before November 31st will receive a 2% discount. Payments can be made online at www.bereaky.gov. They can be paid in person at City Hall or dropped into the drop box. We do ask that if you have more than 2 or 3 to pay, that you don't use the drive-through, particularly around the 10th of the month when the utility bills are due. Just come on inside and we'll take care of you. You can also mail those payments to 212 Chestnut Street, and we will be happy to mail you back a receipt if you include a self-addressed stamped envelope. Another big activity in our department has been the annual audit for the year that ended June 30th. We had the auditors in the office the week of September 8th, and I believe I've heard from them at least daily, every day since then. So they continue their work in their offices, and that is progressing nicely. We are expecting another clean audit, and we're expecting strong financial results. Typically, at this time, we would be expecting the final audit report to be delivered around the second meeting in October. But unfortunately, that will not be the case this year. It's nothing to do with us or the auditors, but the federal government. As you know, the city is subject to the audit of our federal expenditures. The auditors use a compliance supplement that is released from the Office of Budget Management. Typically, that is released in May or June every year. It has not been released this year. We're not really sure what the holdup is. They have released a draft, and the auditors are using that draft to carry forward with their audit planning and their testing, but they cannot issue that final report until the compliance supplement is official. So we have no idea when that will be, so we're just kind of playing it by ear. But at this point, that is completely out of our control. But I will keep you updated on that. That does not just affect us; that affects every single audit nationwide. So it's a pretty big deal. Other than that, we just continue to do our daily tasks. We're working closely with Sean and Kevin on some 911 data analysis, trying to get all that ready to present to you. We're also gearing up for the AMI project, getting all those meters switched out. That's going to be a big topic, big project for our department coming up soon. So we're excited about that. And then before you know it, it's going to be amended budget time again. So with that, if you all have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer the best I can.
I've got one.
Uh-huh.
You said we had a little over 6,000 tax bills out.
Yes.
What will the total of that be? We'll take in, if they all paid.
It's about 1.1 million. Yeah.
About how much is that up over last year with you got any idea? I didn't mean to ask you that.
It's going to be maybe 1%, if I remember our discussions from our property tax setting. If you'll remember, we backed off of the 4% increase, so it's going to be about 1 to 2%, if I remember correctly.
It's increased quite a bit. I remember it used to be 700 or 800 coming in, didn't it? Mm-hmm. That's what I thought.
It has, yeah. We have done very well with new property being added to the city, as well as the valuations going up in general.
Thank you, Susan.
Other questions or comments for Susan? Steve?
Susan, as extending the profit and loss thing to November 3rd, does that hurt us any on collections?
That's a very good question. So I was concerned that it would be, but it has not. I think a lot of
Most
people.
most of us accountants didn't tell anybody anyway. So
Yeah.
we just wanted to go and get them done, but
I think a lot of the people just went ahead and filed like normal.
right. I was
so
just
it
curious.
hasn't.
I hadn't looked at the numbers recently, and I just wondered. Thanks.
Other questions or comments for Susan? All right, Susan, as always, we appreciate the work of you and your team, and we know you'll rise to all those challenges. So thank you for the update.
Thank you, Mayor.
Would any other department heads like to address the council? No volunteers? All right, seeing none, we'll move forward to the city administrator's report, and I'll recognize City Administrator Sean Sandlin. Sean, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Also would like to thank Susan and her team. They're an excellent example of having fun at work and still getting the job done each and every day. Their dress-up Halloween probably will take place here in the next couple of weeks, so we're excited to be able to see that. Also, I'd like to announce to our citizens that our Fall Cleanup Week has been set for October the 20th through the 24th. That is a partnership with Waste Connections, and the cleanup will coincide with the normal garbage pickup for your daily pickup. Those ads will be run into the paper in the Berea Citizen for the next 2 weeks to let all of our citizens know. Follow up on some projects that we have going on and wrapping up. We'll talk about the pool first of all. The punch list has been completed. The contractors are now addressing each of those items that's been identified along with the pool project. So we're moving towards completion on that project now. The Ellipse Street project, I think you all have probably seen that Allen Company is wrapping up those final details of that project. BMU has installed all of the lights along the trail. Those lights are currently on, I believe, Kevin, is that? So you might drive by there tonight or next day or two to take a look at that. The pickleball courts, asphalt is down. Lights and fencing will go up next week. Tennis Technologies will be on site the following week to lay down the surface and to install the nets. Final grading will also be done within the next 2 weeks along with the concrete. Project manager Brian Reed has done an excellent job in managing this project and also has secured enough funds to install 2 sets of bleachers down there so we can be able to sit outside and rest and watch tournaments or whatever you have. So that wasn't something that we thought we was going to be able to get, but we was able to obtain that, so that's great. The Fairstown Community Center, all the paperwork has been turned into the Bluegrass Area Development for the project, meeting all the grant requirements. We expect those funds to be released this year. However, we do plan on postponing that project just a couple of months, maybe February, so that we can review and see how the KYTC plans for the road project to take place, and maybe those could coincide at the same time because they do interconnect. So we're hopeful that we'll learn more about that after the first of the year. Public Works has started a box culvert installation on Ginger Drive. We believe this project will help with all the stormwater and the potential development in the future. This project was a large enough, the current culverts was not large enough to carry the load, causing a backup or a retention in that area. So we decided to remove that and get that water flowing freely again. And we did size that appropriately. So like I said, future development in that project, in that area or anywhere from Plaza Drive on would be able to take advantage of that. And any developers would be able to expand on the culverts that's there now to widen the road in the future if needed to be. The Trailhead restrooms, we've received 4 proposals on that project. 2 of those was within the budget. Project manager Brian Reed also is evaluating the proposals currently and will decide the contractor in the next couple of weeks. We do plan to have that building removed, demolished within this year, and construction fencing obviously put in place. As Susan had alluded to, we are still continuing to work diligently on the 911 funding. We're hopeful that we can have a work session at the last week of this month or the first week of November to talk over that. Our numbers are looking, our data is looking really good at this point. We'll finalize that hopefully this week, early next week, so we'll be able to formulate a plan and get something before you guys soon. And with that, I just want to also say that out of those 7 projects that we talked about tonight, 4 of those is being funded by and supported financially by the Berea Tourism and the Berea Tourism Commission. I want to make sure that they get all of the credit for helping support other projects that's going on in town. And that's all I have. If I answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Sean. Jerry, go right ahead.
I got a couple. On your pickleball court, is the parking gonna be existing parking out from it?
It is.
The green space behind it, or that's to the fence, that's just green space,
Green
right?
space. Yeah.
With it, what about the driveway that's been put in? Will it be tucked back out to it?
Removed, yes.
Is it gonna be fenced?
The pickleball courts will be fenced.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's, all right. One more thing. On our Scalpel County shared use path, what, we got any idea?
Yeah, so that's a RTP funded project, so you can only have 2 RTPs at the same time. The Trailhead Restroom is funded by RTP. So at the completion, when that's wrapping up on the Trailhead Restroom, we will flow right into getting the approval for the Scaffold Caney. Hopefully.
Is the grant approved on it? Is the money approved? Because we've been,
The money is approved, you just can't have 2 projects going at
I
the same
understand,
time.
but we've been waiting on this project for a long time.
You have, and prior to me, the thought process was we could get the Trailhead Restroom started quicker.
No, the
because of
trailhead
some of
needs
the-
to be fixed,
yeah.
okay?
So that's
It's very
kind of the
important.
reason we went that
We-
direction.
We've got to keep our bathrooms down at the park. We've got to get them lined out. And y'all working on it now, thank you.
Steve, and then we'll come to John and then back to Ron.
On the 911, Sean, I know we don't know how we're gonna fund it, but obviously that's what we're meeting about. When will once we decide that, when do we anticipate that would affect the public? Because that's my biggest concern, is like, do they need to prepare for January? Do they need to prepare for March? I mean, I know there's gonna be some increase to something.
Yeah,
You know, so, trying to get seniors and low-income people particularly, like, when is this gonna affect me?
Yeah, if everything went perfectly, it would be January to February. Now, there is a situation where we have to run into the Public Service Commission, and we have to work through that with them, and so, you're kind of on their time frame. What I can tell you is we will not roll anything out to BMU customers until we can roll out to Southern Madison Water customers. So, what time frame that ends up being is a little bit based upon.
Does that put us behind on when our payment begins?
It does put us a little bit behind.
Do we
so
start
will-
paying in January?
That's the way it's
The
projected.
theory at the moment? I got you. Thanks. And of course, sorry I bug you about the shades every time. How are we doing down there at the ballpark?
That's a good question. They was supposed to be completed this week. Priscilla?
There was installation on Field 5 late last week. They were working on it.
Right. So hopefully,
Will they take those down during the winter, the shade part, and leave them?
they stay up.
They stay up, so they're supposed to handle the weather. Okay.
Basically,
Okay. Okay. Long time. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Let me go to John, Ronnie, and then back to Katie. You're good. John?
Going back to the Olymp Street section of the shared use pathways, I was trying to do my math the other day and just want to see if you can help me confirm. Forgiving about 100 feet near Clay Drive and going from Mady Road all the way up and around to get us to Indian Fort Theater, does that give us about 11 miles of continuous shared use paths?
I can tell you that I can check into that and get you an answer, John, but I could not.
But I think it's in the vicinity of 11 miles
Yeah.
of continuous pathways, which is, I think, a really, really nice feather in Berea's cap.
Absolutely. We've done a lot of work for past administrations, and Yeah, many years has been put towards that.
Thank you, John.
I remember when we started out with the BB White Trail
right.
many, many years ago.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. We'll go to Ronnie.
Yeah, the pickle court, how many gates are they gonna be? I mean, each pickleball thing, will people be able to go in instead of, having a straight fence there and people have to,
Yeah, no, there'll be a center fence that splits the courts, and then there will be a gate on the center, both the front where the seating is, and then in the back, in case the ball was to go over. Somebody's on that end of the court, they could just slip out the back and get some and not interrupt other people in front. But there's two gates, one in the front and one in the back.
that worries me because I see the courts wider where people not playing on a court come in and interrupt somebody playing on a court. You know what I'm saying?
I can tell you that when Brian designed this, and Brian did design this, he looked at all the official documents that says how to lay one out, the sizes that it needs to be, the sizes around the perimeter. We've worked with Judith and Steve Jones and the whole pickleball community basically to formulate this. So we've took all of their considerations into
Well,
account.
if they complain about it, I'm blaming you. But
I
the
think
other
you would anyway, Ron.
well, that's true. That's true. But the other thing is the lights on that went up down here. I think we would have had a better use of those lights out on the bypass because more people use a bypass at night than people down there use that sidewalk. You know what I'm saying? So either we need to put some lights up on the bypass for people that walk and make that circle during the evenings and night, and especially riding bicycles and stuff.
I think we have identified a few locations that would be easily done. We've not got to that project. Obviously, we have a lot going on.
So you got plans for it?
Well, there's been some identification or some identified locations for them.
Do I hear a commitment?
We have to keep in mind too that the bypass is a state highway. And
Yeah.
Ellipse Street is a city street, so we're in full control of Ellipse or any city street, but not the state highway.
So you don't care if somebody gets killed out there at night?
No, I absolutely do. It's just that you've got to work with the state, Ronnie.
Well, I hear you.
Steve?
Sorry, I thought of one more thing. The piece we're missing between Ellipse and where it comes to 25, is that on your to-do sheet? Is that the best way I can put it? I mean, we are gonna, there is hopes to complete that because
There is.
it's not a horrible piece to connect. I mean, even if it didn't get done, but it needs to be done.
It is.
So it can be
and,
continuous.
There's possibly some room within this budget from the Ellipse Street that's we have.
And we just have one, well, we have a couple property owners to deal with, right?
One, I think that's not had anything done with it. One is okay with everything. So it's just we've identified that person. It was just reaching out to them and seeing how they feel about it.
Super, that'd be great to extend that, yep.
Katie?
This is minor, but I think Ronnie mentioned this at a Parks Committee meeting. Are we going to have like a banner or artwork or anything so people can see what the Trailhead restroom, like we've seen artwork for it. It looks really nice. Have we posted that on social or are we going to share that publicly? Like I think people would be excited about that.
We can.
Yeah, I'd love that.
We do plan on putting a banner up down there on the construction
Cool,
fence.
yeah.
But social media would be an excellent
it's
place to
just
start. Yeah.
Going to make our park look fancy.
It will.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Katie. Other questions or comments for Sean? All right, thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. We'll move next to mayor's comments, and I do want to, Sean talked about a whole lot of capital projects. He's really got a whole lot of plates spinning in the air. We've had that in various stages of funding and design and construction, and I want to compliment him and Brian both, because Brian is a project manager and Sean has an uncanny ability to get things done. So I think with the two of them working together to get some of these projects pushed over the finish line has been tremendous, and their efforts should not go unnoticed or unappreciated, because all these projects ultimately improves the quality of life of the people who live here, our neighbors and our friends and our citizens. So thanks to you, and thanks to Brian as well. You deserve a lot of credit for getting these projects to where they are, and I'm grateful for that. The other thing, I do want to give credit to Sean again, and also to Roy Curtis in the presentation on the pollinator gardens. Roy and Sean have been very hands-on, and anytime Judith has needed something or kind of some guidance on where to go, where does the creek flood, where does it not flood, Roy and Sean have been at the ready, working with Judith and the volunteers at the pollinator garden. So thank you all for that. One other announcement that we've made the first cut, the Kentucky Product Development Initiative, which is a state program to provide funding for manufacturing, industrial, large business sites. The first round has gone through, and we made the cut with the Central Kentucky Business Park Authority. There would be funding of up to $4 million directed toward the Central Kentucky Business Park in Berea at the end of Fairstown Industrial Drive. We still haven't gotten the award yet, but we are getting a site visit from independent consultants who will come to evaluate that site and determine whether we get the funding or not. So I feel really good about where we are, and I'm optimistic and looking forward to their visit in October. That will help us to move that project forward a little faster if we can get that type of funding to get us started. And again, that's what it's for, is to get these projects jump-started. One other thing that I wanted to mention, and Sean, I'll let you chime in here if we need to. We do traditionally ask the council to set the Halloween trick-or-treat date for Halloween. I know the City of Richmond and Madison County Fiscal Court have chosen October 31st from 6 to 8 for that. And so I think we probably need to do that. And do we need to talk about Halloween in the park, or are we just going to keep that at the same, Sean?
I think Priscilla and I have discussed that, and we would just keep that the same on the 31st if the council decides to do that.
So the question before you, I would like to have a motion, if we could, on establishing the hours for trick-or-treat for the city of Berea. And again, the City of Richmond and Madison County are both 6 to 8 on October the 31st.
Motion to duplicate.
Steve, and a second by Cora Jane. Any discussion on that? And this would include our Halloween in the park as well.
Which would be happening concurrently?
It'd be happening 6 to 8 and creates that safe environment around the ballpark and the park.
Mayor, can I just make one
You-
more
you may.
comment? What the mayor is referring to is Halloween in the park typically takes place on the 31st on Halloween. This year, it's on Friday, so that coincides with a Berea community football game, which will be in the park as well. We think that we can manage that traffic and all that still the same, but I just wanted to make you aware that that's the reason that we was questioning possibly having that on the 30th.
So the motion on the floor is to approve October 31st, 6 to 8. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion carries, and we'll let our peers know, and we'll let Priscilla get everything lined up for Halloween in the park. Priscilla, thank you, and I know you'll do a great job with that. That concludes mayor's comments, and next we'll move to council comments, and I'll begin with Ronnie Terrell.
I'm going to talk about streetlights on the bypass. Since we've done that down here, can we see if we can't get a grant or something to get lights put up out there? Because they are more people using that and walking around that circle in them subdivisions. So,
I think we could, Ronnie. We'd probably have to go through the Bluegrass Area Development District. I'm not
Well-
aware of grant-based funding for that type of
maybe,
project, but it's possible.
yeah. The only problem is it'd probably be 2 or 3 years before we see it.
Not always. Some of those
Well,
come through pretty quick. So we'll
it's
check
pretty
into
slow.
it. Thank you, Ronnie.
Yep.
Next, we'll move to Cora Jane Wilson. Cora Jane.
I just want to thank everybody that came tonight and all the presenters. Turn my mic on. And Judith, that's really neat about the pollinator garden. I go into our church and they have a butterfly bush. And I always look for butterflies. Now that a butterfly tree or something, they attract to that. And it's funny because I'd never heard of that. You'd see them on stuff growing up, flowers and stuff, but they're on that butterfly tree all the time. It's really neat. The kids always are looking at it, so. But thank you all, everyone that came and presented. Laura, thank you, and come back to these meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Cora Jane. Next, we'll move to Steve Cottle.
I also would like to thank everybody for coming tonight and those who presented. This was one of those agendas where you look at it and you think, it's kind of a light agenda. There's not, we don't have a lot of ordinances or resolutions, but some really good stuff. Thank you for Kaylin and Judith for the presentation. That was really interesting. I had seen a lot of the pollinator things that were happening, and anytime that we have a group of people who are passionate about something and they do such a great job of coming together and just making Berea better is always so appreciative, or so appreciated. I feel like that's sort of what sets our town apart from a lot of places, is that we have people who are very passionate about it and really kind of pour themselves into all different aspects, and it really kind of helps everybody as we move along. And Susan, thank you for your presentation. The work you do is always one that is pretty thankless, I think. Nobody loves to talk about the money, but the fact that you have done such a fantastic job of budgeting, financial planning for this city through different administrations and mayors and city administrators, and really you've kind of been the glue that's held that financial piece together over the years, and I always appreciate the work that you do very much. And so, and also thank you to the public comments. We haven't had those in a while, so pretty light agenda that turned out to be jam-packed, like those.
Thank you, Steve. Next, we'll move to Jerry Little. Thank you, Jerry. And we'll move to Katie Startzman.
Laura, it was great to have you here tonight. Thank you for sharing so eloquently, and just appreciate your commitment to the ways you've served Berea over the years, and really appreciate look forward to reading this article. And again, Pollinator Crew, have to congratulate you or thank you for your work and directing your energy in such a positive way to benefiting other people in our community. So thanks. Thank you also, Sean. I love those kind of updates. That was so juicy. There's so much good stuff going on. And thanks for sharing all those details with us.
Thank you, Katie. Next, we'll move to John Payne.
I will echo council's comments. Also, we had our guest astronomer here, I believe, last meeting. Recently had an event at the Forestry Center. It was looking at the moon. We looked at Saturn. It was a wonderful event. Visit Berea is a great resource for events, by the way. In addition to that event, we've got, the next several weeks are jam-packed. As Kaylin mentioned, October 17th, there's a 5K at Whitehall, 6 p.m. for Hope's Wings. It's not that expensive. It's easy to find. Just Google Hope's Wings 5K. You'll find it. We also have coming up that weekend the Old Town Fall Festival right there in Old Town on October 18th. We've got the Fall Art Market, which is coming in that weekend. It's going to be at the Kentucky Guild of Artists and Craftsmen building. Great opportunities to mingle with your community, support community groups, and support tourism.
Thank you, John. And for the last word, Steve Davis.
I haven't had that in a while. I always like to see the public out. I always like to see public comment. I appreciate the public comment, and I hope that we don't just gloss over the public comment, that we actually take that to heart and actually look and see if anything that's being mentioned is feasible for us. The other thing, too, is, the pickleball court, you all know, came from a presentation from the public. So things do happen around Berea when you come to the council and do presentations. Now, not always. But just to encourage people to continue to come to us, and like the pollinator thing, I hope there's a way we can figure out a way that the public can finance that a little bit with a nonprofit. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But anyway, I just always love the public coming, and we appreciate it because that's who we work for. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. And that concludes our business agenda. Is there a motion
So
to
moved.
adjourn by John Payne with a second by Steve Cottle? All in favor of the motion to adjourn, please say aye.